cannot buy. Send me in love that you cannot mix. One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you cannot fix. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way where you cannot see. I'ma take them, I'ma take that, I know that she can. Oh, I love it, the way you come back when you move. Ain't nobody in here with that body. Nobody in here with that body. Nobody in here with that body. Ain't nobody in here with that body. Nobody.
Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my world. Welcome back to another episode of Zhebeauty channel. If you're new here, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss out when I upload new videos such as this one. If you're returning, welcome back, love. You already know, grab your makeup brushes and let's jump right in. Jumping right into the Joan palette, I am going to be using this beautiful transition shade, this beautiful beige color, and just applying all over my eyes. Make sure that when you're using some type of primer on your eyes, either an actual primer or you can even use concealer, which I would recommend using a concealer, and then setting it with a little bit of setting translucent powder or whatever you may have on hand, and then going in with a nice beautiful neutral shade of eyeshadow. That's kind of my recipe of what I do. Also, just making sure I'm just patting that in and going in with this beautiful blue and the James Charles palette. And I'm just packing on that color. I'm not blending it out just yet. I didn't really know what look I wanted to do when creating this look. So this is kind of like a free-form look for me right now. Like I'm kind of just jumping right into it. You know, I didn't really put too much thought. So however you see this video comes out, it's a surprise to you and me. So just thought I'd give that heads up. Now, going back into that palette, I am going to be using this beautiful violet blue shade and apply it to the sky blue shade that I did apply previously. And I'm just going to pack that on as much as possible as well before I start blending out the edges. Now, once I have that violet blue shade packed on to my liking, I'm going to go ahead and start just blending it out using a very light stroke motion, very light circular motion, if you will, and just making sure that I'm blending out the edges only. Now, I do have a little bit of rest of that product on my brush, and I just leave it on the brush, whatever product I didn't use to pack in the rest of that color, and I'm just using that to blend it out as well as much as possible. Not trying to go too high because I want to keep it kind of low, just in case I add another color on top of that or anything like that. Now, as you can see, it did kind of smear away a little bit, so I am just going to go back into that palette and just apply it back on top and just fill in those little gaps that were created by the blend, and just going in with that and just packing it right on top, and that's pretty much it. Now going back into that palette, I am going to use this purple shade and just apply it to my crease. I did feel like this was a perfect shade to use just because it just blends with all of the colors. Also, when you're blending colors, you want to make sure that you're using colors that actually blend with one another, and the colors work well with each other, just so you can see the actual transition between each color as well. And also, you want to make sure that the colors not only blend, but they pop together as well. Once I have that color packed onto my liking, I am going to go in with this detailed brush and just blend out the edges of all of those colors. Now the purple is very overpowering. You know, you can kind of see the vision, but just trust the process. Again, this was a freeform look. I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do this look, as I mentioned before. So I'm just trusting the process here as well. It was beautifully blended afterwards, and I just went in with a Q-tip, added a little water, and just started creating my crease because I wanted a very sharp crease, and also used the other side of the Q-tip just to dry it, any of the rest of the residue or oils that were left on the Q-tip. And I'm just creating my crease. Okay, so now that I have cleaned up my actual cut crease, I am going to go in with my flat concealer brush and just apply the concealer all on my lid. I noticed that when you go in with a clean base, when you create your cut crease and then you apply your concealer on top of that clean base, you don't have any of those other colors underneath bleeding through that concealer, which makes it look very muggy and just not neat. So I decided to always clean my base from the point on. When I figured that out. Also, because when I started applying my colors on top of the undercolors that bled through that concealer, it doesn't really pop as much, and then it starts to look muggy, and I really don't like that. So I just decided to start cleaning my base. So now that I have a nice clean base, I'm going to go in with my angled concealer brush and just pat out that concealer, making sure it's nice and dry, and adding a little bit of setting powder to make sure it's all set and there's no product that's able to move or anything like that. So when I add my other eyeshadows, it doesn't move. going back into the palette and using this grapefruit type color, I am going to be applying that to the outer corners of my eye and just packing on that color as much as possible. Going back into that palette and using a very yellow type color. It's just a yellow eyeshadow that was in the palette. And I'm just making sure I blend that out. And I did go in with that red color as well and blend, well, an orange color. And I blend that through the yellow and the red to give me a nice transition. So I did go in with the orange and blend out that as well. Now by the looks of it so far, you can see the vibes that it's giving. It's giving sunset rainbow type vibes, and it's giving very much tropical baddie, and I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it. It's giving vacation for me. Now, going in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation, the shade will be in the description box down below, and I am going to be applying this all over my face, and I'm using dots. Usually I be using lines, but today I guess I was feeling dotty. I guess I was feeling a dotty, baby. But I did go ahead and do my diamonds or rhinestones and my lashes off camera. Going in with my NYX Professional Bear With Me setting spray. I always like to set it in before blending it out, just because it gives me a nice and beautiful blend. Shh, that's my secret. Don't tell nobody. No, but I don't gatekeep. So yeah, that's what I do to get me a nice seamless transition through my foundation. Now, to give my foundation a nice, clean, smooth base, I like to go in with a big fluffy brush and just blend out that foundation. Now, I will be going in with the e.l.f. Camo Matte Concealers, and the shades will be in the description box down below, so be sure to check that out.
Down below.
Of course, going in with my L.A Girl Pro Concealer and my e.l.f. Concealer. The shades also will be in the description box down below, and I'm just applying this to the hollow points of my cheekbone, preferably the darker part where I want the actual shape to go, and then the lighter part just above that, so when I'm starting blending out those different colors, everything can be nice and well blended. Now, going in with my dense angle brush, I am going to be blending out my contour. One thing I noticed, honestly, about blending out my contour is that when I blend out that color of that contour all the way out, I don't necessarily see the shape that it gives my face. It doesn't really give my face any shape. So when I barely blend it out or blend it out just enough to where if I were to apply any other product on top and it will blend it, then it gives me a nice shape. As you can see a little bit of shaping in my actual face because I have a very oval face. So I have to make sure I cut that hollow part of my cheekbone very deeply. I already have hollow parts in my cheekbone just naturally, but I like to define them just because it gives my face some more dimension. Now, once I'm done blending out my contour to my liking, I go in with my Real Techniques setting brush, and I just go ahead and blend out that dried down a little bit concealer. I always like to let my concealer dry down just a little bit, and then I'm going in and blending that out as well. Now, majority of the time, I be sitting here looking at my makeup and be like, oh my God, this is not turning out right. I want to wash it off. I don't want to do this. But then I realized, like, you got to trust the process. It's not going to look 100% all the way until it's all the way done. So I strictly live by that motto. It might seem impossible until it's all the way done. That's just me. So when I'm doing my makeup and I feel like, you know, maybe this is too light or maybe this is that or that, I always find new ways and new techniques of getting my makeup to my liking. So that's basically what I do. I just develop these different type of techniques to help me get my makeup to where I need it to be, and it always turns out completely the way I want it to when I'm done. Once I'm blending that out, I like to go in with a flat brush as well. This is like a foundation brush. It's a fluffier foundation brush. I don't know what brand this is because I found this brush like tucked away somewhere. And when I found it, I was glad I did because this is a really nice brush and it blends so beautifully. And I'm just using it to just make sure that everything is nice and set and everything is nice and dry. And there's no extra product on my face and everything is nice and seamless. Now going in with a much denser brush to blend out my contour just to make sure I'm keeping that product in the placement that it needs to be and making sure that it's dry and nice and well blended. Now going in with a bronzer brush, I did use the bronzer brush to go in with my Physicians Formula blush, and I am going to be applying that. Now the products that I usually use is always the same products. I have not switched up my products too much because if I did, I would either show it on the camera or put it in. All of my products is usually in the description box, but I'll usually put it on the camera if I'm using a new product or something like that. Eventually, I will be using different products just to expand my makeup collection and just wanting to experiment with different makeups. But for the time being, I am going to be using these products because they work best for me at the moment. Now, after I'm done detailing and blending out everything, I'm going to go in with my Fit Me pressed powder, and I'm going to be applying that underneath my eyes just before I apply my setting powder, just to make sure that the concealer is nice and set. Going in with the Too Faced Born This Way setting powder in the shade medium, I am going to be applying this underneath my eye. Now this is what gives me back color and definition into my face when I use a very light concealer. Now I don't necessarily have to use just a extremely bright concealer, but I really do like it so that when I apply my different powders or different things on top, because I do apply powders on top, now it gives me a very matte look, which I like because it's almost skin textured almost, and I really like that texture when doing my makeup. I'm starting to get into dewy makeup, but dewy makeup is more so on the side where I just want to add a little bit and have a very natural on the go type look, and that's mostly when I do my dewy looks. But when I'm doing my full glams or soft glams, what I say, fams? I don't even know, child. But when I'm doing my soft glams, I like to use a very soft or skin-like texture or majority of matte. Going in with my Real Technique Expert brush, I am going to be just blending out that jawline and making sure everything is nice and blended. Now it did dry down like a little bit too much, but the more it dries down, I feel is the better, because I'm able to just blend it out even more. Also, I went in with my Angle Fluffer brush and just used the rest of the product that was on that and just blended out that as well. Going in with my Fit Me pressed powder and just using the rest of that product that is on that brush and blending out that contour. It gives me a nice angle. And then going in with my translucent powder, the Born This Way translucent powder, and just defining that jawline area. Now going in with that same translucent powder, I am going to be defining my jawline and just making sure that I have a really nice cut within my jawline. Now, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm pretty sure you can, because I can. When I cut my jawline, I don't blend out that contour all the way. You see how it gives me a nice actual cut, and I really, really like that. I could have blended it out just a little bit more, but the fact that it gave me that cut that I was looking for, I actually really starting to like it. But I know next time when I do it, to just blend it out just a little bit more so it don't be so heavy. But that's the type of look I'm going for. So I'm still learning. I'm not just perfect at my makeup, but I'm getting to where it's to my liking. Now going in with my Fit Me pressed powder to define my nose contour, I am going to be using that just to make sure that my nose contour is nice and defined within the shape. I'm using very light strokes with a fluffy brush. Now, going in with setting powder to continue defining my nose contour. The reason why I'm putting the setting powder on the sides of my nose is so that everything can blend from my under eye. So it gives the illusion that my nose is thinner than what it actually is. Now going in with my powder brush and just defining that actual blush that I used previously, just making sure everything is nice and blended and just mixing everything out and just defining that just so it can be a little bit more bolder, because blush tends to fade throughout the day or throughout the end of the application or so. So you can add quite a bit because the blush will fade over time. And making sure it's not too harsh, just going in and blending it out with a very nice fluffy brush. And I like to get the powder brush, and use the rest of the product and just to apply to the sides of my nose, and going in with that same setting powder and just defining my actual contour just to give myself that nice sharp shape. Going in with this this grapefruit color and applying this underneath my waterline just to give myself the same effect to my waterline. And also adding some mascara to the bottom of my lashes. Now going in with this nude lip liner, I did not like the way this applied to my lip. I used it for my under eye more so, but I decided to go in and lip line my lip, which I used it just so that the other colors I use can stick. But I didn't like the color, so I did change the actual pencil because it wasn't showing up, and it just looked no, it made my lips look dry. So I went in with a brown lip liner pencil, and then I went in with a little pink and just tried to get that nude to my liking. Then I went in so that I can line my lips with this pink shade, and then I lined it with some eyeshadow, with a pink eyeshadow that was in my palette. It was like a rose colored. And then I went in with the Malani in the shade Charming, and then I used that to apply on top, and it gave me a nice look. It came together. I really liked it. So I'm always down to try something new, and it turned out really, really cute. And then I went in with my NYX Professional Butter Gloss, and that is in the shade Fortune Cookie. And I also went back into that palette and grabbed an orangey color, that tangerine orange color, and I did apply it to the outlines of my lips as well, just to add some color of the eyeshadow in with the look, just so everything can blend nice and perfectly together. Then going in with my bronzer and applying that to the tops of my high cheekbones, just to give myself a nice glow. As you can see, that glow is so pretty. And then going in with the Fenty Beauty in the shade Trophy Wife and applied that to my eyebrow bone and my nose, just to give myself a nice bold highlight. Now it's time to do my hair. I am taking my hair down. Now, if you want to see some hair tutorials, go ahead and comment in the comment section down below. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for the love and support and being here with me today. I really appreciate you. You are appreciated, you are seen, and you are loved. And I thank you so much for supporting me. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment so you don't miss out when I upload new videos such as this one. You don't want to miss the beat, honey. You don't want to miss the beat. Also, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it.
This is the peace that you cannot buy. Sign me in love that you cannot mix. One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you cannot fix. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way where you cannot see. Man with this system, he cannot pray. I need to find relief.